Welcome to SunnyHippies channel. Don't forget to hit. I used to hate when people say, hey, subscribe to my channel. But hey, you know what? They have millions of subscribers and I have. I've been very unprofessional. I just mostly just come on and I was like trying to do that. That was my gimmick, is being unprofessional. But I think the professional. But we're gonna give it a go. Speaking of which, I could improve my audio, so let's do that.
Here we go. Yo. Alright, so that should be a lot better on the sound. Sorry, some of my previous videos, the audio was shit, so I don't know, I might start over a new channel. I mean, I only have 450 viewers. You could start a new channel and link it to this channel. So maybe we'll start doing that. I was thinking of doing like a SunnyHippies Gaming, a SunnyHippies News channel, SunnyHippies Sports, you know, SunnyHippies Music, and then, I don't know, man, I need some help, and it's like a lot of work, and I feel like a kind of a grandpa. I need some like younger people to like just kind of. I could do it myself, and it's not that I lack the technical skills. I just like, it's just like these younger kids seem to be a lot better at putting it together faster, and I'm kind of just like puking on the. It's kind of like vomiting on YouTube. That being said, I'm a pretty funny guy and very intelligent, and potentially could be a great broadcaster, great podcaster, great, you know, some people, you know, like Hassan Abi, he's passed me way up, and Luke Beasley, they're like leapfrogging over me by leaps and bounds, and they do great work. Midas Touch got 5 million viewers, and even Joe Rogan, you know, I mean, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but, you know, he's been successful being a podcaster, and it just as far as like the basics, having a background, having a strong microphone, being consistent with your material, so people have, you know, hundreds of videos that they could go through and watch, and that they know consistently. And people have noticed I did grow the channel, people saying, hey, good job. But, you know, then there's some inconsistencies too. The audio's not always good, and things like that. So we're going to work at getting better here. I appreciate you watching. If you could subscribe and like the channel, that'd be great. And look forward to upcoming new material. If I could ever get my shit together. Anyway, I haven't played Spider-Man in a while. I don't know how truthful I should get. Should I tell everyone the truth? Listen, I'm disabled. I'm on Social Security with a really bad heart condition. My heart is swollen like a grapefruit. That's why I'm afraid to do a podcast and be political, and the Trump regime shut me down and try to cut me off of Social Security and boot me out of the country. I mean, these guys are pretty ruthless, man. They're trying to deport the guy for protesting in California because they don't like his stance against Israel. You know, you can't call everyone who's free Palestine pro-Hamas, because, I mean, I don't know if he's pro-Hamas or he was Hamas, or he's promoting, if the kid's promoting violence or not. Like, I haven't seen evidence. I haven't researched it. I haven't seen anything other than the few minutes on the news, be it Fox News, CNN, ABC. They're all saying basically the same thing. Trump's trying to deport this kid who is protesting against Israel. And it's a very difficult situation because as me, I'm a pro-Palestine guy myself, but I'm a Jewish guy. I'm also pro-Israel, but I'm anti-Netanyahu and anti-Hamas. I do like hummus, but I don't like Hamas. I agree it's a terrorist organization that on October 7th was a ridiculous, horrendous crime, and they deserve backlash. However, I'm not sure that they deserve the backlash that they received. It could have stopped a little while ago, and it's been paid back already, tenfold. But Palestine, to me, really fucked up when they went after the music festival. When they went after and raped women dancing at a music festival, like, that's horrific. It rips at the heart of anybody. Even Palestinians, yeah, maybe that was not such a good idea. Killing babies, having a pit of babies, and, just acting like brutal Russians. And I get that war is brutal and this and that. And I also get that Americans acted horrible in the Vietnam War. And I'm not claiming that Americans are saints in this regard either. But at least America tries to put up a front of, like, morality and ethics and, like, adhering to a, before Trump, I can't say how Trump is, but before Trump, America always adhered to a ethical quality of war, disclosure. If you arrest someone, there's charges publicly that are real, you know what I mean? So, like, there's been, like, integrity that America has built up over the years, whether or not I don't call Genocide Joe, for example. Just arming the Israel doesn't make one genocide. Genocide means trying to erase the people from the face of the earth, okay? And Joe Biden did not say, I want to erase them from the face of the earth. Trump has said that. It's not the quiet part out loud that Joe Biden said many, many, many times over. I think a lot of people are very ignorant about this because they don't listen to Biden's speeches and they don't know what Biden actually said several times. Said several times with the, like, similar to Bill Clinton, and maybe Bill Clinton was an asshole. Maybe Biden is an asshole for supplying arms, for supporting us, so you can have that stance. But what they said is what I envision for Palestine is where they can hold their own free elections, free and fair elections for Palestine. Palestine can elect their own leaders. They can go to college. United States can improve their colleges. We can help them improve their own colleges, improve their own hospitals, and have the freedom to leave after they elect their own leader. I do agree with getting rid of Hamas, that Hamas is the enemy. Hamas is a terrorist organization. I also agree that Netanyahu's got to go. Netanyahu is a war criminal, and he's a thief. He's been stealing for 10 years. So you have two horrible, and yet, Israel is in charge. I think Palestine should have more land, and I'm not denying that. I heard Hassan Abi. I don't agree with Hassan Abi when he's. I agree with the Free Palestine to a certain extent. To like, I think they go too far in attacking Joe Biden, basically. Because I think the ultimate objective is completely different. What Trump is saying, wipe them from the face of the earth, clear them out. He's not saying, hey, let them elect their own leaders. Hey, let's build colleges for them. Let's build hospitals for them. Let's help them rebuild, bring in food, help them rebuild, give them better education, better hospitals, and the freedom to leave. Bill Clinton said, let's give them more land. It was 5% more land. It was a better deal than anything they've ever had in the past. But Arafat ruined the Bill Clinton deal. I don't know. I heard Hassan Abi saying he didn't like the Clinton deal, but I don't know that deeply about it. You know, I'm not claiming to be the most informed. I do have a lot of the talking points. You know, and Palestinian to me made a big mistake on October 7th because the military in Israel was protesting Netanyahu at the time. So the Marines were vulnerable protesting Netanyahu. When October 7th happened, the military was a little distracted and unavailable. So that's why they were able to get away with it. But Hamas, I think, made a really bad mistake when they went after the music festival. They should have went after military targets only. And if they had said maybe they were too cowardly or they were too ill-equipped, maybe they couldn't do it by raping women and attacking like a suburban town of people unarmed. It doesn't work. It doesn't get them sympathy. It made everyone angry. They could have avoided the genocide. They want to call it genocide. It's not a genocide because a Democrat wants Palestine to exist and elect their own leader. Trump saying wipe them out. That's a genocide. Don't put me as a Democrat in the same category with that, because what I say is let them elect their own leaders, let them build hospitals, build their universities, and they give them the freedom to leave and more land. So I don't know, maybe a connecting strip to the west. It's a mess. I don't claim to have all the answers. But it's a difficult situation when Netanyahu got to go and Hamas both got to go, in my opinion. And this kid, that he has a right to his free speech in America, unless he's promoting Hamas and promoting like violence and stuff. In which case, I don't know, because Biden said the same thing. You're allowed to non-violently, but if the advocates are saying, hey, he's a non-violent person, you're allowed to say free Palestine. I'm free Palestine. I don't like Hamas, but and like Joe Biden used to say, the Palestinian people are not the enemy. They get caught in the crossfire, just like the Israelis who are riding the bus to work and get blown up because the Palestinians are so desperate they send out suicide bombers and blow themselves up, and everyone loses. So, and I asked Hassan Abi, what's your most peaceful solution? Like people like Roger Waters, who are just humanitarians and they say this is an occupation, this is an apartheid, Israel is genocide against, the most extreme, saying like it's an apartheid, it's a genocide. Well, what I want to ask those people, I'm not criticizing them, I'm saying, okay, if you feel that way, what's the most peaceful solution? It just can't be like destroy Israel, because Israel has a right to exist. Jewish nation has a right to exist, just like the Palestine nation has a right to exist. So where's the equilibrium here? Where's the peaceful equilibrium? And to Hamas got to go. Is Palestine can elect their own leaders, have their own free elections. The United States will help them rebuild their hospitals. Maybe Trump can build a Gaza tower if it actually helps the people there and gives them jobs. If that's going to feed his ego, if that's what they want, it's not the worst thing in the world to build a hotel if it really does employ people and it's not just bullshit for his genocide. Okay, but I'm not for the tanks coming in. I'm not for America joining Israel in any way. I think Biden played it fairly well. I mean, did Biden go too far? I don't know. Maybe I'm ill-informed, and Biden did some horrible shit that I'm not as aware of. But to me, I kind of took the tagline, the free elections for Palestine. And if you don't think free elections is if you want to put free elections in the same category as wipe them out, then fuck you. There's something wrong with you at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for erasing all the lines on the map and letting them both share, and maybe have an Israel-Gaza parliament. I'm a more an open-minded thinker, man. And I've been saying that for years. I think the American Constitution is great, and I trust the American government 100%. I don't always trust the players who are playing the game, but the document and the set of rules, it's pretty good. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a really good game. It's like, do you always trust the dungeon master that is running the game? Not always. No, sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't trust Donald Trump at all. I don't trust Elon Musk. That's a big problem, man. They frequently, like with Tesla, and his armored car where the window breaks, and his missiles blowing up, and he's saluting Hitler, and supporting like the neo-Nazi and eugenics and all that. Like, I thought he wanted to save the earth. Elon Musk, I thought you wanted to save the earth and like be like save the rainforest. And when I thought of Elon Musk in the beginning, I thought of the ocean being clean and the rainforest being protected, and finally there's a billionaire. And I used to say, finally there's a billionaire who cares about the environment. But he didn't. He just like kind of like used us to like make himself popular and make himself seem that way. But really, like, I feel bad for him, because Elon was really abused by his father. Elon Musk really abused Elon bad and drilled a lot of like hateful racism. If you look at the Elon Musk interviews, they're very like dark and evil. They believe that they're better than the German Nazis, better than the Italian fascists. And if you think about it for a second, everyone likes to say Trump is Hitler, but America inspired Hitler. America had civil war back in 1778, 77 or whatever, and America had slaves for like hundreds of years. And then, there was like fighting to keep slavery. It was American segregationists. They didn't want to integrate. They wanted to keep blacks away, keep blacks in their communities, keep blacks in the ghettos, don't give blacks jobs. So the federal government had to step in and say, hey, no, Alabama. No, Idaho, you have to let blacks have jobs. You have to let blacks eat in your restaurants. That's what they call government overreach. That's why Trump says, take it back to the states, where they can lynch you again. You know what I mean? Like, basically, because the government had to step in, remember the Civil War and everything, and the North. Abe Lincoln liked slavery. He wasn't anti-slavery, but the people wanted to be done with slavery so badly that it was overwhelming, and not completely overwhelming. It was 60-40. There was a war. And so that 40% of people that wanted slavery, the segregationists, they've been here this whole time, since the 1600s, since they, some of the Americans wanted to like help the American Indian, and some of the Americans wanted to, some of them butchered American Indians, but like the nice Americans kind of like, it sucked because like there was like nice Americans trying to help the indigenous people, and then they end up getting fucked over, and the nice Americans like, fuck dude, I didn't want that to happen. Like on Wounded Knee, it was fucking horrible what happened with Chief Joseph preaching peace and then getting slaughtered because a weapon accidentally went off. And so people forget, like, Hitler was inspired by American racism, and Mussolini was inspired by American segregationists. And was it who some Americans supported Mussolini, some Americans supported Hitler. The dark period of American history no one wants to talk about. There's some rumors that I saw that actually Elon Musk said that their grandparents may have donated to Hitler, and they wrote a book, Hadelman, their great grandparent or grandparent. I'm not an expert, but they wrote a book on white nationalism. This is before Mussolini. That, you know, these are the people that inspired D'Annunzio, the founder of fascism. The poet, the racist poet, who inspired Mussolini to start fascism. He was inspired by American segregationists. So us going around saying this is Nazi, and Erema says, well, no, we're not Nazis. We're not fascists. We inspired them. I don't know if you want to call it Nordicism. People started saying Nordicism. It's Nordicism. It's Roman, you know, the Romans. But there's some evidence that the Greeks were racist. The Greeks liked slavery. The Greeks felt like there were always lesser people that should be servants. And the Romans were not necessarily the race. The Romans are known like evil and the race history and supreme and all that. But they were all kind of racist. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know that Nazi a political group that basically the white nationalist political group is called fascism, and the MAGA has kind of taken over fascism as far as like all the same ideals as far as ending civil rights, getting rid of the Black Lives Matter mural, trying to control the media, you know, deporting anyone brown skinned, basically anyone who disagrees with you is the enemy within. That's all like Hitler shit. The cats eating dogs, and hey, people think Trump is stupid. Oh, he's a buffoon. No, what he's doing is trying to get the people in Springfield to get closer towards violence, towards the people of the Haitians, the black people, the black-skinned people who are taking our jobs, you know. So the racists can maybe use it as a tool of violence. Say, hey, he was eating my cat, you know what I mean, and get pardoned by Mr. Trump. So it's not just he's stupid. He thinks cats, like he knows he's lying. Just like the Woodward interview, you had Trump in the afternoon saying that he knows the coronavirus. He said, hey, this stuff is 20 times more deadly than the flu. You just breathe it in through your nose too. You don't need to pick it up off a railing and touch yourself. You just breathe it in through your nose and it's 20 times worse than the flu. This shit is deadly, he said. Listen to the Woodward interview. And then that very night, he went on Fox News and said, it's just like the flu. Let me repeat that. During the day, he's saying, man, this shit is deadly. You just breathe it in through your nose. It's 20 times worse than the flu. And the flu, you need to touch some mucus on the railing but this stuff, you just breathe it right in and it's 20 times worse. This shit is deadly, he said during the day. And then that night he said, just like the flu. So he knows he's lying. And he said that lie alone cost 300,000 lives. It's like 1.5 million people died of coronavirus, and if Trump had said, hey, this is 20 times worse than the flu, if Trump had come on the air and said, hey, this is 20 times worse than the flu, and you just breathe it in through your nose, so, you know, wearing a mask, do it or don't do it, but it cuts it down 15%. You know, you have a 50% chance of getting it, but if you wear a mask, you've got a 30% chance. It's not foolproof, no, a mask, but it does 15%. So if Trump had said the truth, 300,000 lives less would have died. Okay, there still would have been a lot of death. He's not but telling the truth matters. Having people protect themselves matter. You know what I mean? that he said he didn't want to cause mass panic. He didn't want to admit that he had ignored the coronavirus since January, because he said that shit in March, and the shit had already been around for a few months, so he had to come out and say, it's just like the flu, because otherwise he's like, why have you been ignoring it for 3 fucking months already? So they do consider themselves better than Nazis and better than German fascists. It's important to remember that Americans inspired that hatred in the first place. This is America's problem. We don't know how far Trump is going to take this. His ideology, the other thing that's scary is his genitalia ideology, the E. Jean Carroll rape case that he was 100% guilty, and he still owes $85 million for the rape case. He still owes $250 million to New York for the fraud charges. When he committed fraud, he was telling people these properties are worth, $25 million and they're only worth $100,000, whatever it was. I don't know the facts of the case, but he was, multiplying the price of these properties, getting people to invest, and then the price was false. So for that, he had to pay back $500 million. And he just says everything, it's just fake news. It's just the left-wing media out to get me. It's just Joe Biden, just Joe Biden. But he lied and doctored up and he misled people and he frauded the people. The thing with the election interference and the Stormy Daniels. It was a misdemeanor, but lying to the public like that is a misdemeanor. Normally wouldn't have been a big deal, but when you're lying to the public during an election, then you're defrauding the public for political reasons, which makes it a felony. There's a reason why that law was on the books in the first place. It's not because they're out to get Trump. It's because you're covering up the books to get away with your cheating, but you're doing it during an election to lie to the American public. That's what makes it a felony. So it's not that they were out to get him. It's that you were like getting and he didn't deny anything. He had 10 years to deny it. He didn't deny it until like 2 months before the election. So it was like, you had 10 years, and now 2 months before the election, you're suddenly like, So, so no, you can't really like trust what they're saying. But that this racism goes back to before the American segregationists inspired Hitler in the first place. This is America's problem. What I really think we need is a 5-party system, because Mussolini got rid of the 5-party system. They said no dialectic, no only 2 choices, because I didn't understand when my teacher told me 2 parties is fascism. 2 parties isn't fascism. Fascism is one authoritarian ruler, and like racism and Hitler and Mussolini and all this stuff, and America's not that. And because at the time we were both correct, he was right, because maybe they are both living high on the hog and enjoying this 2-party system a little too much, batting the ball back and forth to each other. But what I had always said is, well, we don't need a 2-party system in America, because the 2 parties meet in the middle pretty well. During the Clinton era, 33% of Democrats voted on Republican issues and 43% of Republicans voted on Democrat issues. It wasn't like 50-50. Oh, the 10 Democrats who voted, oh my God, Fetterman voted on a Republican issue. Oh my God, a Republican voted on a Democratic issue. Oh my God. Like, it was never so ridiculously stupid like that, where like the infighting now is pathetic. Like, Trump is like bringing sex trafficker Tate in from Romania, and they want to talk about they went to the joint speech of Congress. Oh my God! Like Trump removes the intelligence from Ukraine, and they're going the joint chiefs of Congress speech. The 10 Democrats that you don't like. You know, like, you're not supposed to all be unanimously deciding on anything. You're supposed to mix. There's supposed to be Republicans who vote on a Democratic issue. There's supposed to be Democrats who vote on a Republican issue. They're supposed to meet in the middle. You bring your constituents' ideas from Alabama. I'll bring my constituents' ideas from Pennsylvania, and we find common ground. And I can't believe they voted on each other's issue. Boycott them, boycott him, boycott him. And so it is ridiculous. And that's also the bullying that Donald Trump has started by like really bullying the other party and by not working together, by calling them the enemy within and making it so polarized. We're like, listen, buddy, Democrats aren't supposed to be your enemy. Republicans aren't supposed to be your enemy. They're supposed to be friends. We're all Americans. And we're supposed to meet in the middle and find common ground in D.C., not like be so polarized. And since Donald Trump is polarized, and he wants to say Obama polarized it, see, because I never used to understand when they say, oh, it's racist to call me a racist, or the reverse racism, or the apartheid they're trying to bring back in South Africa. I never really understood that, but because they feel like they are the oppressed ones. They are the ones that have been down so long. They are the unrecognized ones. When they see a Black Lives Matter parade or they see a gay rights parade, they want a parade. But see, the rest of the world sees it like as the whites are always getting credit, like Spielberg and George Washington. But we don't say the great white Steven Spielberg made this movie. We don't say the great white George Lucas made Star Wars. We don't say the great white George Washington. It's just kind of like, and so they feel burned by that. The racists and the white nationalists, they feel kind of burned. But we do say the great Spike Lee. Like, okay, Spike Lee movies aren't as good as Star Wars, but when he does something, it's like, oh, the African American did it, the African American award, and the white people feel burned because they want to hear like, the white dude made Star Wars. You know what I mean? They want like the white kind of like credit like attached to anything that they've done. Like, you know, like the white people wrote the, you know, like, I don't know. It's fucking weird, but you have to think about white nationalism as a whole separate culture that exists. It's like accepting like people in Africa put like things in their lip to make their lip go out to here, or they stretch their feet, and we can't sit there and say, oh, those people are dumb, or those people are fucked up, or those people don't know what to do. We have to respect their culture and say, oh, well, that's different, you know, that's cool, or, you know, I respect their culture, you know, and I'm not going to ridicule them, you know, and they have a right to exist. Hey, that's cool. I don't understand it. It's similar to white nationalism, where they have like a completely different view of history, where they view like every civil rights action as an insult against them because they are unrecognized. And you can get all this from the Errol Musk interviews, and also just like growing up and knowing white nationalists my whole life and stuff. You know, all these things that you hear, like, how dare you call me a racist? And I never understood that. Why do they get mad? Why does a racist get mad when you say you're a racist? They say, how dare you call me a racist? And I never understood why. And the reason is because they feel like they've been oppressed this whole time. They've been held bound. They've been unrecognized. And despite their like leading the world in culture and leading the world and everything, we haven't been saying, we haven't been recognizing, we haven't been saying the white people are leading the world. We haven't been saying the white people make the best movies. We haven't been saying actually white people dominate sports. You know, and so I'm not saying I think this way. Listen, I believe in equality and civil rights. And so this is what I'm trying to explain to people, that this is a war on civil rights, because it's like an informational war. And that's why, like, they say, well, the white nationalists will say, well, Hitler did some good things, you know. So, I mean, I think the faster that you can understand a white nationalist, and you can understand that this racism is not Nazism, it's not fascism, it's American segregationism, it's Nordic, not Nordic, because they're not sure that the Nordics were racist. The rape and pillage, Vikings, they were definitely conquerors, and there's definitely evidence of rape and pillaging. But were they like? They were kind of like pirate, like ruffians. Like they weren't like supreme rulers. They were just more like. So I don't know. Like calling them Nordic, I'm not sure is accurate. You know. I'm not sure what the accurate term is like for this American segregationism, this racism that goes back to Europe. Because they said like Christopher Columbus was brutal to his slaves, and you know what I mean, like whipping slaves on the way to America in the first place. So like, what's that racism called? Is that fascism, or is it just white? What is that called? Racism? Like, I don't know the word. There's a word that I don't know, and that's the racism that we're fighting now. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because like they don't really name that. People don't really talk about like this the racism that started in Britain and France, I guess, or like they like to say, well, white people were slaves too, the Irish were slaves. And I don't know about the Irish slaves, but look, listen, I'm not saying it's good to own Irish slaves either. Like, it's all bad, you know, and like people should be free and equal. If you listen, I think Bernie Sanders had it. He hit the nail on the head. Bernie Sanders, because what he said was, we need to increase the taxes on wealthy people 1 to 3%, and we take that 1 to 3% and cycle it back to poor people, education and health care, and the rest to the deficit. And he said if we do that, we could make free public universities like CCAC would be free, community colleges would become free around the country, and universities like the University of Pittsburgh and University of California price would drop down to like $100, like it used to be a long time ago. And you could still pay to go to Harvard and Yale and this and that, but you know, University of Pittsburgh and places like that would drop down. They would be like $1,000 where everyone could afford college, which in turn would make our country great again, because you would have poor people that can't go to college helping technology, helping the entertainment industry, building up science, you know, because there could be the future Albert Einstein can't even afford to go to college right now. And so America loses with this America First agenda, is America Last, because it's isolationism, and you're leaving people that might actually help your country, right? Like I said, the poor out. You just think all the rich people are you know, these guys are buffoons. You wealthy people are a bunch of fucking buffoons. You know, the most intelligent people are coming out of the ghetto and out of a lot of the poor people. Was an Albert Einstein not a wealthy guy? So you got to quit thinking about the supremacy and start thinking about equality, and that's what the war really is. The war is like a war of civil rights versus white supremacy, and this white supremacy goes back 1,000 years. It's not. It predates Italian fascism. It predates the Nazis, but you got to watch the propaganda, because on on Facebook in the 2015, they had Facebook groups like Bernie Sanders fans who hate Hillary, and what Russia would do. And it was proven, and I knew it in 2015 before the Mueller report came out. I already knew that this was going on because I experienced it on the ground. So you guys are all being fooled by Vladimir Putin. There's like a Russian obvious group that sprouts up. It's called Bernie Sanders fans who hate Hillary Clinton. And I said, listen, man, we can't like let Trump win here. And you guys, there's like hundreds of thousands of voters that are buying this shit. And like me and Bernie are sitting there saying, look, man, look, I wanted Bernie too, but now that Bernie's, you know, and me and Bernie and I feel like me and Bernie alone, I can't think of anyone else. We're saying, come on, please vote for Hillary, vote. And they're saying, you know, Bernie Sanders fans who hate Hillary. There's 85 groups on Facebook, 85 Russian groups named Bernie Sanders fans who will not vote for Hillary. And I'm in all these groups going, come on, please. And they're going, fuck you, get out. You're being manipulated by Russia. No, get out. And now to this day, they do the same thing. It's Al Green versus Hakeem Jeffries. And they're like, psh, just Vladimir Putin gets the Democratic Party spinning like a top. Psh, psh, psh. So, hey, here's the 10 Democrats who voted against Al Green. Look at these idiots. Hey, Christine Gillibrand voted against Al Green. That's Russia. That's what they do. And meanwhile, they're like, they just killed like, you know, they launch a missile attack in Ukraine. Watch America get distracted by this. Hakeem Jeffries sucks. And then they make some kind of a fucking headline, man. Hakeem Jeffries is a spineless coward. Released to the public. Send a bomb. Boom. Ukraine fucking children dead. America. Hakeem Jeffries. Oh. And this is what pisses me off. Hakeem Jeffries isn't doing anything. Where is he? You didn't even watch the news. He's been speaking every day on CNN, on MSNBC. CNN is bullshit. This is how Russia has everyone so fucking poisoned. I feel like King Theoden and the Grimer Wormtongue. I need to like break them out. And oh wait, CNN's true? Yes, CNN is true. CNN is true. CNN is true. CNN is true. MSNBC doesn't lie. NBC doesn't lie. The Mueller report was real. The Mueller report was real. The Mueller report was real. The Steele dossier was real. The Steele dossier was real. I lived through it. Facebook was releasing groups called I'm Bernie Sanders fan and I hate Hillary, and it was complete total Russian propaganda. I mean, yeah, there's like a little ounce of truth to it, but they just take it and spin it and spin it and spin it and spin it. To this day, people are going, well, Hillary was awful. Oh, well, Bernie Sanders' plans were unrealistic. They're echoing Putin and Trump talking points that are not true. But the emails, sending an email from your house, like that's all. She sent an email from her house. Trump's raping a woman. You'd be like, but she sent an email. Like that, literally, that's it. Like there's no, like it could have been she could have emailed the grocery store to see if they have any coupons this week. It doesn't matter. It was an email from her house. Hey, she emailed her cousin to ask if they want to go to the movies. From her house! She sent an email from her house. Meanwhile, fucking Ivanka Trump sending an email from Yahoo and shit, from Google Mail. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. But this is Russia that just keeps this thing spinning and spinning and spinning. What pisses me off is the ignorance of people that don't know that Hakeem Jeffries has been speaking every day. He's been giving press conferences every day. He just held a a press conference on Friday where he pulled the Democrats together and sued the House Republicans. They lost in court because the Republicans were too spineless. There's a law that the Republicans can cancel the emergency. Trump called it an economic emergency, and that's why Trump's able to do these tariffs. Tariff 25%. I'll see your tariff and raise you 25%, 250%. He's like the Queen of England. Off with their heads. Off with their heads. Off with their heads. He's like he's playing poker with people's lives. I'll see your 25% tariffs and I'll raise you 25% tariffs. But the reason why he has this executive power is because he declared an economic emergency. Don't forget, Joe Biden handed him a golden goose. The economy was called a golden goose. But so Hakeem Jeffries pulled the Democrats together and sued the Republicans and said, you guys can cancel this emergency and take the power back. And they said no. The Republicans voted against it, said, no, we're going to keep the emergency on. We're going to allow Trump to continue. So all this economic disaster, now granted, to be fair, inflation came down a little bit and the Dow Jones seems to be reversing. So hold your breath. But if anything goes wrong, this is on the Republicans, because Hakeem Jeffries pulled everyone together, filed a lawsuit. He served the Republicans a chance to take the power back, and they said no. And so if the recession happens and the economic goes in the tank, this is on Republicans. This is not on Hakeem Jeffries. Don't sit there and say, well, Hakeem Jeffries has done nothing. At least know what he has done. And this is what pisses me off, because Vladimir Putin releases a headline, Al Green is the only one who cares. Hakeem Jeffries, spineless, does nothing. Spin the top. Laugh. Bomb Ukraine. This is what Russia does. Al Green is the only one with courage. Hakeem Jeffries does nothing. Boom. Spin the top. Bomb Ukraine. It's Putin. And then you go, and then a lot of Americans go, Hakeem Jeffries does nothing. And they're fighting Hakeem Jeffries, and they're not even going, Putin bombed Ukraine. They're not, they're like this. Al Green, Hakeem Jeffries. Well, you know, he's been bombing Ukraine anyway. Forget those 25 children he just killed yesterday. Right? Forget the 25 children that Vladimir Putin just killed yesterday. Hakeem Jeffries and Al Green. Let's forget the 25 children, or was it the 1,000 people in Sudan? That's like one little 5-second blip on the headline. 1,000 people killed in Sudan. Hakeem Jeffries and Al Green. That's how Putin has you all spinning. You I haven't seen one fucking thing about these people dying in Sudan, and because USAID got pulled out, they're completely fucked. And, well, Russia bombs. I know Sudan's not Ukraine, but I'm just saying Russia also bombed Ukraine, and there was like 25 fucking deaths, 11 kids or whatever it was. And everyone's going fucking, Hal Jeffries, Hal Green. Adam Schiff does nothing. Meanwhile, Adam Schiff's on the fucking news every day. There's 75 lawsuits. You know how much work it takes to file 75 fucking lawsuits? They've won like 67 lawsuits in court. They've done nothing. Because you just like get a little headline that Putin put on Facebook, a little something that Putin puts on TikTok, and they're spinning like a fucking top. And what pisses me off is they don't know what they've already been doing. They don't know that Hakeem Jeffries filed a lawsuit on Friday. They don't know that Hakeem Jeffries pulled an emergency meeting today to pull the Democrats together and gave a fiery speech on Capitol Hill. Like, if you know that and you say, well, I don't like Hakeem Jeffries' speech today. I didn't like when he said X, Y, Z. But when you're just going, Al Green, last week it was Al Green, only one with courage. And you don't even know. Like, I love Al Green. Al Green is great. Al Green is awesome. But Hakeem Jeffries is also awesome. Adam Schiff is also awesome. Chuck Schumer is also awesome. AOC is also awesome. Elizabeth Warren is also awesome. Amy Klobuchar is also awesome. Chris Murphy is also awesome. All the Democrats are awesome. They don't have to yell and scream and beat their chest and be fucking... It could be a little grandma who says the right thing. There's a lot of women on the, holding up a paddle. If you really believe that Donald Trump is a fucking fascist, if you really believe that Donald Trump is like fucking Kim Jong-un, then holding up a sign calling him a liar to his face takes more courage than half of you people who won't even put a profile picture up of yourself. And you want to say, oh, there, but see, this is Vladimir Putin work. Those senators are cowards, spin the thing. These are the 10 Democrats you should hate. Fetterman voted on the Republican issue. And this is what Putin does, man. The Democrats are so busy going like this. And meanwhile, fucking 25 fucking more Ukrainians got bombed 2 days ago. Meanwhile, Trump released a sex trafficker from Romania. Nobody talked about it hardly at all. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to say, don't be distracted. Don't invite. It's good to inspire people to do more, but know what they're doing. If you want to inspire them, if you have a specific idea that they could do, but don't just say, do more, do more, do more, but you don't know what they've already been doing. And this is what I'm talking about, because people say, I'm shocked. I can't believe that Trump is working with Russia. And meanwhile, CNN has been telling you for fucking 10 years and you didn't watch CNN. Vladimir Putin told you CNN is bullshit. CNN is real. CNN is not bullshit. If you watched CNN in 2015, you would have saw them say, hey, there's Russian interference going on here. Then if Trump goes, whatever they say is bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. That's true. What do you think Trump's going to say? Yeah, I am. And Trump even said on TV, hey, Russia, hey, Russia, go fuck Hillary up for me. He thinks it's like blatant out. And then Trump in 2015, hey, Russia, go get Hillary for me, Russia. And now in 2025, oh my God, I can't believe he likes Russia. He says, I'm writing love letters with Kim Jong-un. I fell in love with Kim Jong-un. Me and Kim, who you can't even fucking, I'd be killed already, runs such a tight, North Korea is like, Trump's not like Putin. Trump's like Kim Jong-un. He's so fucking insecure. He wants to control the media. He has Kathy Page running around showing him videos of himself because he's so insecure. And he's saying, I love Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un, I love. He's like 10 years ago. I love Kim Jong-un. And you guys are going, oh, he's trying to censor the media. I can't believe it. If you had watched the fucking media 10 years ago, so quit slandering CNN, quit demonizing watching news, watch more news, read more newspapers. And don't sit there and say, taking it back to the states, that's racism. That's what racism is, because the states want to have slaves. The states want to not serve blacks. Remember when they said, oh, no, you're not allowed to serve black people. I don't have a fucking script. This is all off the top of my fucking head, okay? No, you're not allowed to serve black people. Trump is a racist. He's a bigot. He's a white nationalist. He's a rapist. He's a liar. He's a fraud. He's a con artist. He's a used car salesman. And he has illegal Doge running around with his chainsaw and 22-year-old hacker kids hacking through the fucking government like a fucking chainsaw. He thinks it's a fucking joke. Elon Musk, raised in fucking South Africa, apartheid, doesn't know jack shit about America in the fucking first place. Couldn't pass the fucking first grade American history exam. And suddenly he's the president of the United States. President Musk. A Nazi President Musk. As Trump sits there and gets fucking, what do you want me to do? Takes it in the fucking ass from Musk. Hey Musk, what you want me to do? Huh, Musk? Sell cars. Yeah. Hey, everyone, buy Tesla. Buy Tesla. Hey, Musk, you're going to pay my debt off to E. Jean Carroll. Hey, Musk. Hey, Musk, you're going to pay my 250 fraud debt to New York when I ripped off people in New York? And I lied to everyone and ripped them off and me. Hey, Musk. Oh, yeah, Musk. Yeah, fuck me, Musk. But everything he says is fucking honest, man. Right? Take it back to the States is something fucking, and that's, I thought they were going to grab us by the pussy. I thought it was going to be a gentle little massage, like maybe rub my clitty a little bit. You know what I mean? Rub the clit and make me come. No, this is a fucking ass fisting, dude. And not give one fuck about the American Constitution. Now, luckily, Trump has an ounce of American in his body. Because he's still, something about Trump is still American, I'm hoping. I don't know about Musk. Musk is like a globalist. He's like in Russia politics. He wants the whole world to be, and maybe this is a whole world Nazi takeover, man. Because you got to be careful of the ultimate plan that if Trump joined with Russia, if Trump joined with China, and they all joined forces and took over the world to run a fascist world. Now that's the biggest fear. So you better hope that Trump is still a bit of an American and still likes the Constitution and still respects the judges. And he still likes baseball games and football games, and he still likes the tabloids, and he has an ounce of dignity left in the American flag. Because the alternative is he just joins with Russia altogether. And I don't know that he's fully aligned with Putin already or not. He could be slowly, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, assimilating the people over, saying maybe Russia wasn't so bad after all. We've been assimilated by the media. John Wayne told me not to like Russia, but maybe they're cool after all. Forget the rape. Forget that they take busloads of Ukrainian. This is what Russia does. Russia will kill entire villages of men, rape all the women of all ages, and take them away by the busload. There's an estimated 500,000 Ukrainians in Russia's sex slave trade, okay? Russia comes in, kills all the men, rapes all the women, takes them away by the busload. Okay, go Google this shit on the fucking internet. And then you tie that in with Epstein, Trump's connection with Jeffrey Epstein, and tie that in with him releasing the sex trafficker Tate and letting him come down to now. Tate has fled America since then because they reopened court cases. So he had to flee America again. And he said, I'll be back, Florida, threateningly. But why is Trump associating with these people? Why is Trump liking Putin? It makes me think like Trump likes the sex trade. He wants to get the sex trade going again. He raped E. Jean Carroll. There's 25 other cases of rape. The only reason it was called sexual abuse, liable, Trump has been found liable for sexual abuse. The only reason Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and they didn't call it rape is because they're not sure if it was a pinky or a coat hanger which entered her vagina. What is known to be true is Trump, E. Jean Carroll went to go meet a big celebrity. It was supposed to be a big deal for her. She was really excited to meet this big celebrity. They end up in the back by this dressing room. He surprisingly grabs her, pins her up against the wall, and using the weight of his body, holds her against the wall. She's stepping on his foot to try to get away. She's unable to get away because he's too strong. So she feels something enter her. She's not sure if it's his penis, a pinky, or it could have even been a coat hanger. But within about a few minutes, it was over. There was semen on her dress. None of you read the story. It was in the fucking New York Times. It was it was in dozens of newspapers, okay? The mainstream media that you don't pay attention to covered it in quite gruesome detail, okay? He was guilty as fuck. And he'll tell you, oh, the jurors were fucking... No, it was 6 Republican jurors and 6 Democratic jurors. It was fucking equal. They made sure to make it an equal jury of Democrat and Republican. The Stormy Daniels jurors, it was 11 Republicans and 1 Democrat. Go look this shit up. Go cross-reference everything I'm saying. You'll find it to be true. 11 Republicans, 1 Democrat on the Stormy Daniels. On the E. Jean Carroll, it's a jury of his peers. It's not a fucking... He makes everyone believe whatever like he said, I could shoot someone on the street. So I don't know if he has misogyny in line, like it's part of his... I'm saying part of Trump's ideology is this like rape and child abduction shit. Epstein, Putin, Tate. You're like guilty by association, man. I'm not friends with sex traffickers. If I have a friend and my friend is like, I find out my friend cheats on his wife, I quit talking to that person. I don't even associate with people who cheat. Like, if you cheat on your spouse, I don't really talk to you anymore. Trump, a known sex trafficker, a terrific guy. So, you know, and I know someone who knows Trump. I'm not going to name names here, but he's a fucking creep with women too. So it's like birds of a feather raping together. You know what I'm saying? Trump, Tate, Epstein. What do these 3 all have in common? And then the 500,000 women that Trump that Putin likes to take women from the Ukraine and put them in the sex industry. Go look this shit up, dude. Go look up human trafficking related to Ukraine, Russia. You know. So I'm just saying this, you know, calling it Nazism or calling it fascism, it might be deeper than that, man. Errol Musk says that they're better than the German fascists. And so you see this in the policy when they're scrubbing up the Black Lives Matter thing and they're getting rid of DEI workers. You know, this is all screaming of white nationalism. And what's really scary is the night of the night of long knives, or the night of 9 knives, or the opening night of violence, when there was a homosexual general named Rom, and they were like, there was a lot of people, and I'm not sure it was necessarily because he was homosexual, but Hitler went and found one of the generals, 2 men in a bed together, and he had them all killed, including General Röhm, who was a big ROHM, he was a big German early on, and that opened up the violence against his own people. But yeah, the American segregationists inspired. So, you know, and the last thing I want to say is this: when I went to go vote this year, it was really eerie. I used to work down at the voting building, and it was always like every election year, it was always like a joyous atmosphere. Republican or Democrat, it didn't matter. They would have Republican on one end and Democrat on the other, and you know, you were like 1 block away and 1 block away. You were allowed to campaign. The people would be down there, the Republicans and the Democrats, each equally represented, and you know, it was like a lot of regalia and fun and encouraging the American process to go on. And the most important thing is how encouraging it was, you know, get out there and vote. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, get out there and vote. Get out the vote. Get out the vote. Remember, get out the vote. in 2024 when I went down there, when Trump won, it was like I got downtown. There was nobody anywhere. It was like a ghost town. I felt like literally like a tumbleweed like blowing across the street. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I said, where is everybody? Is it November 4th? I went and there's nobody outside. I went into the building and I'm like, where is everybody? There was nobody at the table in front of me. There was some paperwork on a table and like some weird cubicles. And so I went over towards the desk. There was like a military type of person standing there like this. And there was like some fat woman. I don't know what else to say. She was some fat woman just sitting there scowling. Like a military guy over here, a fat woman over here. And I had to walk in between them and go up to like a cashier. The guy looked like baby Hitler, honestly. He had a fucking, like, he was, real buttoned up, and he was like trying to discourage me from voting. He was like, where are you from? I moved, and and he said, well, you have to go to where you're registered to vote. I said, what? That would take me like an hour and a half to get there. He's like, yeah, you got to vote in your own, you got to go vote where you live. I said, what? I said, dude, I used to work in this building, man. I've been coming down here my whole life to vote. This is fucking bullshit. He said, well, you could fill out an emergency voter form if you want. And he was like giving me this attitude, like I could like, well, fuck it then, fuck you and leave, and he would have been happier. So he's like disgruntledly giving me this form. There, fill it out. So I go and fill out this form and come back, and then he gives me the voting form. It was the most awkward, uncomfortable. He might as well have been wearing a fucking Hitler costume. He might as well have been in full Nazi regalia, dude. You know what I mean? I was like, this was the weirdest, most awkward. And so, like, I looked a few weeks later to see if my vote counted. It was. You can look and see if it was counted, and it was counted. My vote was counted, because you can look and see, and it was. But I was that paranoid after that. I never had that experience in my life. I always had a joyous experience. But this time I was like, I had a creepy experience voting. But I just wanted to say that maybe we should have a multi-party system, because it used to be where everyone would meet in the middle, where Democrats and Republicans would vote on each other's issues, and it wasn't so polarized like it is now. Whether you want to say Trump polarized it, they say Obama polarized it because he was black. See, but this is also where you have to understand the white culture. And this is how I want to wrap it up. I believe in civil rights. My family's been fighting for civil rights their whole lives. I believe in equal rights. I believe that Bernie Sanders was right. They should tax the wealthy and redistribute it to education, healthcare. Just a 1 or 2% tax on the wealthy. It'll bring down the cap, because it's way out of bounds. It'll bring it down a little bit. Even Mark Cuban agrees. Some of the nicer billionaires agree. Yeah, I'll take a 1 or 2% more tax. To 3%, no more than 3% more tax. Something fair, and bring it down a little, and then redistribute it out. And so these people that are down here can go to college and help invent cool shit for America and make America better. Not that they want to like but the white supremacists are afraid that the brown people and the poor people will overtake them, because maybe the buffoons aren't the smartest, maybe the buffoons aren't the fastest, maybe the buffoons aren't the best of the bunch. So they better roll with intimidation and fear, lest the minorities overtake them. But you see, I believe in everyone's kind of equal, and I'm better at video games than some people, and some people are better at running, or some people are better at math, and I'm more creative with colors, but you might be better at accounting. You know what I mean? Like everyone, like more like a tapestry view. But I think the white supremacy is a weakness, because they're threatened, because they're not really the best at anything. You know what I mean? So they have to roll with like fear and domination. But since we are no longer in a cooperative atmosphere like it was under Clinton or some of the other presidents, even Bush, even Reagan, it was more cooperative where the Senate and Congress would be like this, 40% vote. I'm not going to just, hey, I'm going to vote against you because you're a Republican. No, I'm going to listen to what you have to say and vote on the content of what you have to say. Like, I don't need someone to yell and scream at me. I just need to listen to what the content of what someone has to say. But since it's no longer so together, since we're no longer meeting in the middle, since it's so polarized, that's where you need like a third party to come in. And so I'd say 5 parties would be good. So, and this is where Democrats have gone wrong a lot, and this is where the left wing has gone wrong a lot. You don't want to, you don't want to get rid of the AFD party altogether. You don't want to get rid of the white nationalists. You don't want to get rid of the Nazis. Okay, and I know this is a little bit radical and people will be mad at me, but the get rid of them attitude is the Nazi attitude. So you don't want that. And it's also kind of what they've been rebelling about this whole time. So is there any truth to the white nationalists feeling like they're the oppressed ones this whole time? This culture, this alternate white culture of the heroes are McKinley, Jackson, Francis Keyes, white nationalist view of history. Napoleon was great. Hitler did some good things. Mussolini was on the right track, and now America's back to, now the world's back on the right track again. Putin's on the right track with his misogynistic role of the world. This is how the world should be, by strength. Versus civil rights, share and equal rights. But by banishing these Nazis and white nationalists forever, like Musk says, weed out the roots permanently, that's not good. You don't want to do that. So everyone gets a seat at the table. No, we're not getting rid of the MAGA party. We're not getting rid of fascism. We're not getting rid of Nazis. They have 25%. Right now they have 53% power. But what it'll end up with is 15% power. 15% power to MAGA, 15% power to Republicans, 15% power to Democrats, 15% power to left-wing, independent, green, whatever you want to call it. Say Green Party, and then left-wing. So everyone gets 15%. The anti-establishment people on the left wing, the left-wingers who don't believe in, each extreme side has anti-vaxxers. The anti-vaxxers on the left, anti-vaxxers on the right. So you have the AFD MAGA party on the far left, on the far right. You've got the AFD MAGA party on the far right, the anti-vaxxers. You've got the far left anti-vaxxers over here. Neither one of them trust the news. So you got the far left, far in the middle. You've got Republican, you've got I guess you got Republican and Democrat, and you got independent and green. So you get like 5 parties. We could figure it out. See, there's a problem with this though, because there are independent people already. Bernie's registered independent. I'm registered independent, but there's not enough of us to form our own party. And I think what you kind of have to do, and this is where the rubber meets the road. Trump definitely would not want to do that. Would he? Would you, Trump? Would you, Musk? Like, I feel like Musk is the president. You got to talk to Musk now. But hey, Biden, would you also agree to surrender? Because what you're going, say we get 4 parties and it's 25%. Say we get, let's make it simpler. So you got Republican, Democrat, MAGA, and Green Party or independent. It's 25%. Would Joe Biden agree to surrender 25% of his power. Would AOC agree to surrender 25% of her power? Trump probably won't, but so this works all ways, and this way there's no bullying, because when there's only because I didn't understand when my teacher said a two-party system is fascism. I said, no, it's really not fascism, because people were meeting in the middle and people were agreeing on each other's issues. But when it's polarized, yes, it does become fascism, because one side can bully the other. Mussolini bullied the other side, and the other side was like afraid, and that's what they're trying to do now. And it's pretty successful so far. But the judges are holding, and the public outcry is really working. The judges are seeing the people in the streets, and the judges don't like their power being usurped either, So the Trump's trying to bully these judges, which is scary. But that's what Mussolini did. He tried to bully, I don't want to have an enemy within. I used to love Elon Musk when I thought he was like an earth-loving guy, and if he would come back to that, if he would circle around and quit this eugenics, what's on Mars? Elon, there's nothing on Mars. It's all fucking dust and dirt. We're not going to go to Mars and it's going to be like Blade Runner, bro. It's going to suck, dude. We're going to go there and be thirsty and no water. Like, there's water here. Can we clean up the water that we have on Earth? Can we quit polluting the Earth? See, because I believe that the forces of God or science or whatever molecule grew us all and brought us all here together has spent 13 billion years growing all of this. And so the whole universe purpose is to grow life, and we are life. So we must protect the life that we have on Earth. We should be protecting the ocean and protecting the rainforest with all our might. And I wish that I could get Elon Musk to quit his racist eugenical view and get rid of the abuse he suffered growing up and join me in the quest to save the Earth. Then maybe there's some redemption for Musk's soul, because I want to like the guy. And Trump, find whatever American is in you, and listen, if I was the president, this is what I would do. I would say, Putin, you got to get the fuck out of Russia, and Ukraine can join NATO. Putin, fuck you. But see, Trump likes Putin a little bit. He got mad when there's two things. Trump wanted a kind of like, you got to think about Kim Jong-un. He wants like a presentation. Thank you, Mr. Trump. You're going to help us, Mr. Trump. Thank you, Mr. Trump. And anything other than that was an insult. Or does Trump really truly like Putin? And if you insult my buddy, I'm going to flip out. Either way, he wanted a presentation, or he's like, supportive of his buddy. But I don't know. We'll see how real he is about the sanctions and everything. But if I was president, I would say, Putin, get the fuck out of the Ukraine, and Ukraine, you're in NATO, because Ukraine basically is NATO already. Ukraine's fighting against the oncoming dictator incursion, protecting dictators from overtaking Europe. And by protecting dictators from overtaking Europe, they are NATO. So if I was American president, I would say, hey, Ukraine, you're in NATO. You are NATO. And Russia, get the fuck out of Ukraine. But I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to have to maybe share Crimea, because Crimea is like a big strategic base. It's an island a little bit out into the sea. That's why Russia wants Crimea so bad. Not only does Putin, want like the big Soviet Union, and he wants to reclaim all the land that it ever was, but also Crimea is a strategic island. And so Ukraine's not going to want to give that up. I don't know about this land. They've moved 20% in where they might, and I hate to say this, that like Trump has a point. Trump is echoing Russian talking points. They lost, I don't know how many soldiers Ukraine lost. Russia lost 800,000, 1 million lives. So do we give Russia, some of the land that they killed themselves to take. I don't know. It's fucking crazy, dude. What I would say is, you either split Crimea or they have to leave Crimea. I thought that I would be asking Ukraine, like, what are your? It's not me to decide, I'd say, well, Ukraine, what are your demands? Are you willing to share Crimea, or do they have to get the fuck out? I don't know. But what I do know is when they say peace, they're talking about surrender. It's like, come into your house, take over your kitchen, eat your food, fuck your wife, and then say, hey, I want peace. Let me fuck your wife in peace, man. You know what I mean? That's the Russian peace. So, I don't want peace with a rapist. I don't want peace with Nazi. I don't want peace with an invader. I want you to leave my country, So I don't know what if Zelensky and the Ukraine are willing to concede any of that territory or not. They're going to be talking over the next couple of days, man. Anyway, I didn't mean to talk about all this, and I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll be back a little bit later to play Spider-Man.